Hey, Maven family. I just got back from a staff retreat with 11 of our staff, and it was unanimous. Our team felt like 2023 was a banner year for Maven. So much work that God has done through the ministry and really through your support of the ministry. And I want to give you an update on some of the things that happened in 2023 so that you are encouraged by the favor that God has really shown to Maven over these first 6 years of our existence. You know, our mission is to help the next generation know truth, pursue goodness, and create beauty, all for the cause of Christ, and to help those who train and disciple them, parents, grandparents, educators, pastors, youth workers, homeschoolers, to do the same thing. Our vision is to pass on a biblical worldview, a Christian worldview to the next generation so they know what they believe, why they believe it, and why it matters. And then they live that out and are salt and light in our culture for the cause of Christ. So that is our mission, and we have 3 strategies where we carry out that mission. The first strategy is our virtual training. The second strategy is our live events, and the third strategy is our immersive experiences. And so I want to give you a little bit of an update in each one of those areas. Our virtual training, the focus of our virtual training really is our parent podcast. And through the parent podcast, we are able to mentor parents all around the nation and even in other parts of the world. And in 2023, we produced 48 new podcast episodes. That's 48 weeks of new content of coaching and mentoring parents. And let me just give you some of the topics that we covered this year, because there's a broad range of topics. We did an episode on protecting kids from porn. We did a podcast episode on secular music, teaching kids the Christian worldview. Sexuality and holy sexuality, raising special needs kids, kids doing chores at home, making marriage work, surviving public school, the social pressure on kids, how families should serve together, shopping at Target, dad's leadership in the home, should kids marry young, how to teach critical thinking skills, how to teach the Bible, raising resilient kids, living with less stuff. That's just a snapshot of the 48 episodes that we did and just training parents and families week in and week out. And now in the Parent Podcast, we have a total of 143 episodes. And so that really creates a library of resources for parents. In fact, I want to read to you some feedback from a mom who discovered the podcast this year. And this is what Abby Paul from Greenville, North Carolina says. She says, "Your ministry has been a literal godsend in my life. Last year, I knew God's Spirit was convicting me to stop being lazy about my Christian faith. My mind was the equivalent of a couch potato, and my Christianity was going through the motions. I have 2 boys, 10 and 14, and it was weighing heavy on my heart knowing I was failing at my job to disciple them in the Christian faith and worldview. But it was so overwhelming, I didn't know where to start. A few months ago, I found the Maven Parent Podcast on Spotify. I could not get enough. I practically binged all your episodes over the next few weeks. It was exactly what I had been searching for, and I'm so thankful for the message of truth you both share with parents and the resources you connect us with. You make everything so accessible and take away some of the intimidation for the big cultural topics of today's world. The first time you encouraged us to learn with our kids, it was such a freeing thought. I had never thought of it like that before, and it was such a weight lifted to realize I don't have to have all the answers, and it's okay, and actually really great, to model learning and wrestling with tough questions with my kids. The books on my Amazon wish list have multiplied by 10, and I'm more motivated to read than ever. Your ministry has been such an encouragement to me, and I recommend the podcast and your resources to anyone who will listen to me. Keep up the fantastic work, Abby Paul." So that is just another snapshot of one mom with a 10 and a 14-year-old who you and I have been able to equip and resource through the Parent Podcast. Not only do we do the Parent Podcast in our virtual training, we have various curriculums on our website, but one thing that we were able to complete in 2023 was the Navigating Cancel Culture curriculum for Christian schools. And so I wrote an 80-page curriculum with all kinds of resources that Christian schools around the country can use in navigating the challenges to Christians in this culture. We also finished a video training series for our Imago Dei Worldview Immersive Experience, but it was 11 sessions of training that we will be able to put online to make accessible to young people and their families, 11 sessions of worldview training. And so that's just our virtual training that we offer through Maven. Then there's our live events. And let me just highlight a few things. We were all over the country in our live events with my speaking and with my wife, Erin, speaking at different conferences and camps and seminars and just all kinds of events. But three things to highlight. We did our second Maven conference. We've done 5 consecutive years of our annual conference in Southern California. And this past September, we expanded that Maven conference to Texas, the great state of Texas, in the DFW area. And we did our first conference there and had a fantastic turnout. In the middle of that conference, that church said, hey, we've got to do this again. And we're willing to host a second conference. Will you guys commit? And so we committed to a second conference, which is exactly what our plan was to develop a second annual conference in another region of the country. And so now the DFW area is that region. And we had people from all over that area. In fact, we had people from other states who came in for that. And so now in 2024, we'll have our Southern California conference in February. We'll have our Texas Maven conference in September. And then we're adding a third conference in 2024. We've been building towards it, doing a lot of groundwork this year, but in 2024, in April, we're going to be launching a student conference in South Florida. And that is a Maven Worldview conference, particularly for middle school, high school, and college students. And our hosts that we're working with there set a goal of 1,000 students at this conference. And so we're excited about that. And so we're expanding our Maven collection of conferences really around the country. And so then we also have our immersive experiences. And I'll just highlight a few things on our immersive experiences. This year, we led more immersive experiences than we ever had before. In 2023, we had 12 different immersive experiences. Now, that represents almost 400 students and leaders who have gone on a deeper, more challenging trip than probably they've ever gone on before. The immersive experiences take young people and their leadership much deeper in worldview training, in biblical training, in theological training, and apologetic training. There's just simply nothing like these trips. And so those 12 trips were with groups from around the country, from California, Georgia, Nebraska, Minnesota, Missouri, Texas, and Florida. And so we have groups now from around the country who are going on these trips, and we are slowly scaling that program to make it sustainable to where we can take 30 groups per year. And that represents a depth of training. The impact is incredible. And here, just a little piece of homework for you. I would encourage you, go to our Maven YouTube channel, do a search for the name Justin and the name Hope. Just type in Justin and Hope in the search box on our channel and listen to that testimony of those two young people, two 14-year-olds from California who went on an immersive experience trip this year with their Christian school, and they got to share about leading a guy to Christ and just how the trip had such an impact on them. This is two 14-year-olds. And so our immersive experience trips have grown this year, and we've already got 12 on the books for next year, and we're adding more. Next year, we're doing our first open enrollment trip. So God has shown us his favor, and he is working through our collective efforts. And I want to just say thank you for your partnership. Those of you who have donated generously and faithfully, you are real partners. And I hope that you understand how vital you are to this work. And I want to encourage you, as you see God working through Maven and our team and our staff and all of the things that we're doing, I want to encourage you to continue in your support. And at the end of 2023, to consider giving a gift that will help take us into 2024, because we really do rely upon the end of year giving that happens in December to launch us into the new year. So thank you for being partners with us on this. And I am excited to share with you what God does in 2024.